Welcome to Jobs and Pods, the only podcast where real employers talk about their jobs and tell you what it's like to work there. I'm your host, Chris Russell. Today's Jobcast will feature IT consulting jobs with IBM's financial management consulting practice. Joining us today to discuss their hiring needs and what it's like to work for IBM is Gautam Banerjee. Gautam is an associate partner specializing in Oracle. Gautam, welcome to Jobs and Pods.
Hi.
Tell me, how long have you worked at IBM?
Oh, collectively for about 10 years, but 3 tours of duty. This last one is about 3 years.
Gotcha, okay. Can you tell us what kind of projects you typically work on and who are some of your clients there in the financial management consulting area?
Well, most of my focus is around the consumer products retail industry and clients within that industry, but there are times when it'll go into travel and transportation and other distribution sector clients. We call distribution sector a collection of verticals that typically have something to do with moving products and services and people from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm. Gautam, what would you say attracted you to IBM in the first place when you first started there?
Well, as always, and again, this is my third tour of duty, and the attraction hasn't really changed, but it really comes down to leadership, the kind of people we have, the living, breathing value system we exercise and practice every day at a broad level. And then very specifically, if you look at the opportunities we work on, they're very large scale, complex and global in nature, and that just leads to a significant amount of learning opportunities and career progression. And last but not least, IBM is a brand name that is recognized very clearly and loudly on this planet. So collectively, I think those would be the reasons.
Very good. So what kind of positions or skills is your group hiring for right now? Can you talk about some of those?
Sure. We've got tons of opportunities, lots of very large-scale projects that constantly get injected into our pipeline and get signed. So we're always on the lookout for, at a broad level, for good people, all the way from people who have module-level expertise. So if you have a deep understanding of GL, AP, AR, procurement, and it even gets into supply chain management and customer relationship management. Module expertise is the first thing that we look for. Additional dimensions would be industry experience and or business process knowledge. But it can go up as high up as good solid project managers who can run, again, large-scale projects, and we're even on the lookout for delivery executives who can sell well. So fairly wide range of requirements and needs at any given point in time.
Okay. So what would you say are some of the top perks and benefits of working at such a company like IBM?
Well, we have quite a bit of, besides the very competitive compensation to the market, that we have several incentives based on individual performance, growth-driven bonuses, and service excellence awards that are selectively presented to people who go beyond the tour of duty on a regular basis, and they're handed out every quarter. It's not necessary that you get them every quarter, but individuals who shine will get these. So collectively, the opportunity to reach higher levels of compensation goals at IBM are extremely high relative to our competition in the market.
Okay. Let's talk about the interview. Can you kind of describe the interview process within your group? And then secondly, what can a candidate do to really impress you in an interview? What are some of the things you look for? Great
questions. The interview process is relatively simple. Very accelerated. So what we normally do is we go through an initial phone screenings done by, and we call it an interview, but it's more like a conversation. We'll do an initial discussion around the skills and capabilities and career goals, etc. And it's normally done by a colleague or a potential colleague, a subject matter expert. And then once that goes through, what we do are hiring days where we bring in numbers of people who we think are attractive and match our needs on a face-to-face interview. And at the end of the day, we pretty much make a decision as to who we want to make an offer for. And within days, the selected candidate is provided that final end result, one way or the other, actually. So it takes days, not weeks or months, for the right candidate.
Right.
And as far as people impressing us in the interview, most people talk about what they do from a technical standpoint, but what really differentiates people is talking about who they really are as people and, how they differentiate themselves in terms of their experience, their skills, their abilities as an advisor to the clients, while the people we're looking for are, let's say, very solidly technically competent. What we look for are the consultative skills in terms of dealing with people and being able to lead them to a place where independently they wouldn't. So that's what impresses us most. It's not what we do, but what it really means for the client and for the people that they work for.
Right. Okay. So any last words of advice for those considering a job with IBM?
Well, just be fully committed to a long-term career. If you're looking for a life-changing, positive experience, this is the place to come. But I think it's very, very important that attitudinally there is a long-term commitment to a relationship with a company. We are not looking for fly-by-nights.
Right.
And people looking for multiple opportunities as a stepping stone. So that would be my sort of advice to people. Jump in with both feet, give IBM a shot, see where it goes, and if you really think it's a good place to be, I think people would be wise to take that approach from an interview process perspective.
That will do it for this edition of Jobs and Pods. I'd like to thank both of them for his time today. And to find out more about the jobs discussed on this podcast, please send an email with your name and interest to hire1@us.ibm.com. That's HIRE, the number 1, at us.ibm.com. Be sure to mention where you heard this podcast online, and please include the words FM Jobs in the subject line. We'll also place a link directly to the IBM career page on the Jobs and Pods site under this podcast. And for more Jobcasts like this, visit jobsandpods.com. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our Jobcast on iTunes. Just do a keyword search for Jobs and Pods. Thanks for listening, everyone.